Silly girl.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Spiller Girl podcast. Today, we are talking about everyone looks ahead online, but that doesn't mean that they are. And it's something that I feel like deserves space, especially on a podcast, because we're talking about the social pressures the media creates, why everyone seems to have life figured out on Instagram, and the truth that you rarely see is the full story. So if comparison has been creeping up on you lately, this episode is your reminder to trust your own pace and stop measuring your life against curated content and moments. So, yeah, that's what we're going to get into. And we're going to have a nice little under 10-minute podcast for it. So, with that said, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. My name is Celia. If you are new here, Spiller Girl podcast, we talk about life, culture, growth, really anything in between. I started this podcast postpartum a couple years ago. And it's just been great to get to know new people and just kind of see how everyone feels about different things. And sometimes saying things out loud that we really just need to talk about. But going back to the conversation, why does everyone seem like they have everything figured out? Why does it feel like everyone online is thriving, glowing, they are launching and traveling and succeeding in love and work and balance? And it's just so perfect, right? Another thing that I can't stand at this moment is like how everyone is so hydrated and they use the Yuri mask and all these like, skincare Korean products. And it's like a 21-year-old that has glowy, dewy skin while the rest of us are over here like applying 17 layers of moisturizer and we still wake up dry. That's reality, okay? So, yeah, some of us, as I always say, we're just trying to do our email, drink our water, keep our nervous system regulated. And if that's felt like you lately, like you are not alone, okay? Ever more, especially as we move into the summer, social media is going to create this illusion that everyone is ahead but you. But an illusion is still an illusion. So I want to talk about it because it's so important. And I keep hearing all of my friends feel so overwhelmed lately. And yeah, I do too. To be completely honest, everyone sounds like so sure of themselves when you're online. And everyone has advice. Everyone has like the top 5 things you need to do to be skinny. And I have this secret formula to make you go viral. And oh my gosh, that one routine that changed their life. And while like there's absolutely nothing wrong with sharing what works for you, sometimes we forget something important, that confidence online does not always mean certainty in real life. And a polished post does not equal peace. There's a lot of the grass is not greener. A lot of times you see like a beautiful reel. That doesn't mean their life has clarity, or just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean their wisdom, including myself. Sometimes people are just sharing simply what helped them. And sometimes they're still figuring it out too. I think a lot of times, actually, we're all learning in real time, and that's okay. But it's important to remember that nobody has every answer. And I hope that helps you sit in life. We are all students in something, always. We are always learning. And I think social media, obviously, it shows moments, not a whole life. I think one of the healthiest reminders we can give ourselves and our children is this. Listen, you are comparing a full life of experience to someone else's selected moments. And that person posting their vacation photos may also be really stressed out just like you. That person posting the relationship content may also be working through really hard things privately. And the person celebrating a business win or a moment may also be really exhausted. That person looking put together all of the time, accessories and glamour, They might have cried earlier that day. Life is always going to be layered, and people are always allowed to share their happy moments, but we are responsible for remembering that those moments are not the full picture, is not the full story, and no one's life is perfect, as a feed may make it look. Everyone is struggling with something else. So be kind. Be kind to the people that are your role models. I always say, in order for me to be aligned, I have to look ahead and I have to define what success looks like for me. Being busy, being visible, being praised, always announcing something new does not make me feel successful. Real success for me looks a lot quieter than that. Real success for me has been boundaries and just having consistency, like the podcast, looking at healing patterns that no one sees behind closed doors. Sometimes it's just saving money quietly that makes me feel successful, or looking at a building and deciding, you know what, this is a blank space and I want to grow something new for my future. And that gives me peace over chaos. So even some people may look at me and be like, how do you do everything that you're doing? Well, you don't see me at home when I'm like overstimulated and having a meltdown. You just see photographs of me or my podcast episode that's edited, or the fact that I'm like, working on a different creative outlet, which is something that I do for a living every single day and comes naturally to me. So if you feel behind now, you're just in a slower season. And if life is uncertain, which I know a lot of people are at right now, or maybe you thought you'd be further along by now in your goals, don't compare yourself, because everyone else may be seeming like they're moving fast, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. And different timing does not mean that you failed and someone else succeeded. Sometimes slower chapters in our life, they just slow you down to strengthen you. And sometimes pausing, at least for me, has helped me heal over a lot of obstacles I've faced in life. And I've always tried to think that a delay is something that's protecting me for something that was never meant for me. So what I'm saying, out of breath, out of wind, because I'm 40, is it's springtime. The roots are growing, right? Like it's growing underneath the surface, and we don't have to be loud, and we don't always have to have progress. And being in between something does not mean that you are lost. You're just paced how you're paced, and that's allowed. Like, you don't need to be in a rush. Everyone's in a rush. Someone else is always going to be sprinting. That does not mean that you need to. And you don't need to panic because someone else is posting wins and you're not right now. You don't need to reinvent your entire life because you see someone else that has some sort of shiny thing online. You're allowed to move at your own pace that honors your own reality. And life's tough. Everyone's given different scenarios and different obstacles and different challenges. So just work within yours, work on your finances, work on your nervous system. What is your truth? What is your wisdom? Move steadily in that, because there is strength in staying grounded. And I find that to be a really beautiful becoming, especially in the moments that aren't flashy. So with that said, if you needed this reminder this week, here it is. Not everyone who looks ahead is ahead, and not everyone who seems certain has every answer. Nobody does. Not everyone who looks perfect feels peaceful. I've learned that more and more and more. So you don't need to outperform yourself. You just need to be true to who you are. Keep building your life, find your own confidence, be honest, keep trusting yourself, and believe in your own timeline, and keep becoming a better version of you for you, your family, your friends, your children. Not everything needs to look good, right? If this episode resonated, send it to a friend who needs this reminder, because it's in moments where life is so chaotic that you need a little love. So if you don't, follow me, Spill It Girl Podcast on Instagram. Share an episode, rate an episode. Love all of the support. All of our quiet progress counts, and we'll talk to you soon. Spill it, girl.